Hi, yet another compact, and one of fair age, well, fair age for these. Don't know exact date. It was one that I've had in use. It was in the loft. It suddenly stopped working, and it's not the fault of the lamp. I think it's due to the actual temperature. The loft was fairly cold. Anyhow, this one is a little bit unusual. It's actually made in Europe, Germany, which makes a change from China. Anyway, see what's got written on it. It's an Osram Dulux EL Long Life. There's some other information. It's 20 watt with a number 220 to 40, 165 milliamps. This is the actual current that would flow through the bulb when it's fully warmed up. And Osram, which is a German company, it's a branch of German Siemens. The European code. No mention about mercury or whether it's dimmable. Obviously isn't, but there's no mention about it at all. It's got the bayonet base, composed of 3 U-tubes. What else can I say about it? Let's plug it in. Also instant start, and more or less maximum brilliance to start off. But it was affected by the cold. It's been pretty cold today here. It hasn't been freezing, but it's been fairly cold in the loft. And it was playing up, so I, as I say, took it out. There's nothing wrong with it. And just in this time that we're talking, I would say it's reached pretty well maximum brilliance. So we'll take that one off. And before I do, I'm just going to mention how they're similar to the uprights there. If you can imagine that type of tube, but extended round, which actually brings me nicely onto the next one, which I was going to make a separate video, but as you've seen, this one I'm not. So we're going to go straight into it. I'm going to drop my voltage though. Now, I have showed these conversion units before. Now this one I can tell you what it is because the label's still on it. It's an American one which I probably brought back with me some 13 years ago, was it? It was a while back. They call it a ProLight 5 watt CM150. It's UL listed, which is Underwriters Labs. 120 volt, looks like 60 hertz, and that's got a current rating as well, 0.18 amp, and a number. I did measure the resistance because this is the magnetic type, it's not electronic, and it was just under 100 ohms. That is obviously DC resistance. 100 ohms using a normal meter. Good old standby that. And it also got some different lamps or tubes to go with it. Now it says on there, let's see again, 5 watt. So officially this is a 5 watt. It's a Sylvania, UK made, so it looks like it's actually made in England, which must be something of a rarity. CFS UK made, so there's not much else on there. That number after that, 827, could be the phosphor code, the actual colouring when it's on. In that fat base would be the little starter switch, as it's only 2 pins. Now let's look at another one. Here we have the Philips version. This is actually 7 watts, and it does still work. It's obviously a newer one. It's made in Poland. Philips made in Poland. And the last one is a little bit unusual. It's an Osram Dulux again. The first one, I beg your pardon, the first one wasn't a Dulux. It's Osram Dulux. The other lamp was the Dulux. That's made in Germany. 7 watt stroke 41, presumably 41 is the actual colouring. Now what is interesting, I don't know why it was done, the tubes had an outer coating. Whether this has been sprayed on after or for a special order, I don't know. In fact, I've never ever seen this done before. You see in places it has in fact come off. It's like a very thin coat of paint which would have been sprayed on. Don't ask me why it's there, I honestly don't know. Anyhow, let's pop it in and have a little look at these. I've set to the right voltage, I don't want to cook it, so we'll drop that down a bit. So it's set to about 120. It's a magnetic ballast, as I say, which means one wire goes through and connects to one of these terminals. The other terminal goes through the actual ballast. Now we'll put in the 5 watt and that comes on immediately, although it is a glow starter type. Note the colour of that one. That's from cold straight in on, virtually instantaneous. Now we'll put the Philips one in next. This is the one that hasn't got a coating on it. Colour rendering is different. This is more like a daylight tube. It's a nice clean light which you would use in a kitchen or somewhere like that. Could in fact grow plants under it as well, but you should really mix it with the warm white as well. This also is instant, and considering it's 2 watts more, it seems to work perfectly okay. And as I say, it gives out plenty of light. It is a brand new tube, this one, so I suppose it is entitled to be fully brilliant. We'll try this one which has got some paint on it. Don't know why, but it's obviously been painted. It's probably a special order. It doesn't seem to make much difference. If anything, it just dulls it down. So it would be brighter if the paint was scratched off, but I'm not going to do that. It's obviously there for a reason. Anyhow, that has completed today's batch. Any questions? Please ask. Also, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm hoping that these would have been of some interest. Thank you again. Thank you.